Today, hi everybody. Today we are going to discuss an important transformation called the source qualifier. This is a source qualifier transformation. Observe here, we are talking about this first transformation. Okay, the main points are, observe here, it is a first and default transformation in the mapping. That means if you want to develop any mapping, after source, the first should be source qualifier. That means this should be associated with the source. Okay, that is the meaning of first. And default means while developing any mapping, it should be compulsory. Otherwise, it is not a mapping. So that is the first point of source qualifier. It is a first and default transformation in the mapping. Without this source qualifier, we can't develop any mapping. And it should be associated with the source. After source qualifier, if you want to keep, you can keep number of transformation as per your requirement. After the source qualifier. Okay. Next, that is the first point. Next, second point is it converts the source data types into Informatica native data types. That means already we discussed the Informatica is a front-end programming software. The data reading from backend, but conversion doing at front-end. After conversion, once again the data goes to backend. Okay, only conversion purpose we are bringing the data into front-end. That means, for example, observe here in my database side, the Oracle database object we are taking as a source. So if it is a number data, so what is a number data type? It is a number PS, number only. If it is a number data, it will be number. Next. But if it is decimal data, so that will be number PS. Precision and scale. If it is character data or alphanumeric data, we can use that is varchar 2. Okay, these are the data types related to our Oracle database. Okay, but these data types we need to convert into Informatica native data types. Data bringing from backend, but conversion doing it front end. So that's the reason these data types should converted into Informatica native data types. That means, for example, see, these are the data types. Okay. These are the data types. If it is a number, okay, if it is number, then it converts, that is integer. If it is number PS, it converts into decimal. If it is a varchar, but as per Informatica native data types, that alphanumeric data type is, that is a string. That means the source related data types also converted into Informatica native data types. That is also done by this source qualifier. That is a second point. Next. The third point is observe here, while executing See, while execution of this mapping, it creates a default query and applies at a source database, then retrieves data from backend to frontend for processing purpose. Observe in this design, data will be at the backend side. This data we need to bring into front-end side for processing purpose. That means while execution of this mapping, this is source qualifier develops a default query that is select star from EMP. If it is employee table, select star from employee. If it is a customer, select star from customer. So that default query will be generated by this transmission, and that query goes to your source database, then retrieves data from backend to front end. For example, we have 14 records. These 14 records we can read into front end side, into our first source. Okay, from source to source qualifier. After that, remaining different transmissions, after that, the data goes to your target table. It is target table. By using this serial, those data goes to your target database. That is the meaning of that one. That means while execution of this mapping, it develops a select statement to bring the data from back end to front end for conversion purpose. Okay. Right. So practically, we'll see this. Yes. To create any mapping in Informatica, we need to complete the following 5 tasks. The first task is importing the source metadata from backend to front-end environment for processing purpose. So that I can do in designer client component, then go to source analyzer. There I can import source metadata. So I'm opening the designer client component. So select our folder and go to tools, click on source analyzer. So which is bold, we are in this particular folder. What is the metadata we are developing that will be stored in this folder only. Observe, as per my design, what I have to do, this employee table structure, we need to import into Informatica environment. Okay, so how to import? We need to provide the connection called ODBC connection. This S_ODBC we need to provide. So this connection we need to establish to a particular user account. So ODBC name is S_ODBC and source is a password, source is a username. So we need to connect to this user account. Okay. Go to sources, click on import from database. Here we need to provide S_ODBC. The username is source. The password also source. That means the source related credentials we need to provide. We have to click on connect. If I click in connect, I can connect to my database, source database. So what are the tables are existed in a particular user account, those I can view. See, that means through this connection, I entered in this user account. Here we have so many tables, but as per my requirement, I required employee table. So that we need to select. So click on expand source, expand tables and select EMP. We have 3 tables, but we required employee table and click on OK. After clicking OK, that will be comes into Informatica environment. That means the metadata we imported into Informatica environment. After first task, we need to save the repository. So repository is saved. Next, the second task is The second task is we need to create the target metadata at front end and executing it at back end. So that is we can do in designer, and in target designer we can develop the task. So observe here, we are reading data from employee table, but I would like to keep into my target database. But here there is no object to store our data, converted data. So that's the reason in second step, the target structure we need to develop at front end in Informatica environment, and that structure we need to execute into my target database. Okay. So here, come down. So the target designer is in tools menu item. If you want to work on source, so they can come down source and laser. If you want to work on target, then you have to come down target designer. Here I can create a new target. I can create a new target by providing appropriate database table as well as, okay. But here the source I can redesign. So I'm bringing the source into target designer, double clicking and click on reading. As per our design, what is the name? EMP, TGT, SQ, and these columns should be existed. Okay, right. I'm coming. So I'm redesigning. EMP underscore TGT underscore SQ. Click on OK. Go to columns tab page. I don't require entire columns. I require limited columns. So the DPT at first. So I'm selecting this. Click on this up icon. And employee number will be there. Employee name, job. I don't have MGR. Select it and cut it. Hire date also cut it. And commission also cut it. As per my design, I designed the target structure at the Informatica environment, but it should be executed into my target database through this connection. So we have to provide these credential, target related credentials. The ODBC name is T underscore ODBC, and the username password is target. Okay. So apply, okay. It should be at database level. So that's the reason, go to targets, click on generate and execute. Here, this we need to develop as a table in my database. So that's the reason we need to provide these options. That is a create table and drop table. So first drop table will be executed, and a second create table will be executed. Why? Because with the same name, if it is available in my target database, means we can't create. If it is available, then first it will be drops. And as per this design, once again, it will be created in my database. Okay. But these options we have to select, but not yet connected to target. So you have to click on connect. Here we need to provide TODBC and a target. Target is a username and a target is a password. Yes. The connection is established. Now I would like to create the table as a physical in my database. So we need to click on this generate and execute. What is the meaning of this generate and execute? Means according to my requirement, the Informatica will generate a script file for this table, and that script file through that ODBC connection that will be applied at a source target database. Okay. Yes. If it is applied at target database, physically the table will be available in my database. You can check it. Yes. The code also generated by Informatica. See, first it is executed, then create. Okay, we'll check it. We'll connect it to our database. We'll check it. You're connecting to target database. Yes, we connected to target database. whether the table is existed or not. So desk emp underscore tgt underscore sq. Yes. Table is created, but there is no data. That means metadata only created. We'll check it. Select star from emp underscore tgt underscore sq. So no row selected, not yet loaded. After execution of this workflow, then only the data will be loaded. So after completing the second task, go to repository, click on save. Simple. Next, third task. What is the third task? Creating the mapping. Creating the mapping with the source to transformation and target, that will be in mapping designer. So go to tools, click on mapping designer. First, we need to provide the mapping name. What is the mapping name? M underscore SQ, session name is S underscore SQ, workflow name is WF underscore SQ. Okay. See, first we need to create a mapping name. Go to mappings, click on create, provide name as M underscore SQ. Right. Then bring the source. While bringing only source, the source qualifier comes automatically. This is the default transformation. Don't modify it. If you are modifying, it will not come. Okay. Right. Then the target we need to drive from target folders to mapping designer. Here we need to apply. So manually you can provide links from like this. See, you can bring from this square box to DPT. Okay. Otherwise, you can provide auto link also. Select any place, right click, click on auto link. Here, provide the source, that means from which transformation to which transformation, from source qualifier to target. So from here to here, select it based on your names. Based on the column names, you can provide links. Apply. Okay. Then go to repository, click on save. The mapping should be valid. The mapping should be valid. If it is valid, then only I can create the session as well as workflow. Okay. Next, the fourth task is creating the workflow, creating the session for mapping and setting default properties. So that is we can do in workflow manager, and we can move to task developer. There I can develop this one. So I'm opening the workflow manager client component. Select our particular folder. Go to tools, click on task developer. Here I need to create a session. Go to task, click on create. Here I would like to select the task type is a session. Task name is a S underscore SQ. You can check. You can check S underscore SQ. Click on create. See, while creating any session, it is asking for our mapping. So our appropriate mapping you have to select, then click on OK. So that mapping will be loaded in this session. The mapping will be loaded in this session. But as per design, to move the data from backend to front end, we need to provide SREL for source and TREL for target. Okay. So come down here, double click, go to properties tab. Here, source connection value, we need to select as a SREL. Target is a TREL. Go to mappings. Here also, individual object wise, we need to select the properties. So it is source, so already we have source, but it is target. We need to select T underscore rel. And the target load type is, instead of bulk, we have to select normal. So we'll discuss when we can take a normal, when we can take as a bulk. Okay, then apply. Okay. Then go to repository, click on save. Right. The fifth task is creating the workflow for session and executing it. So in my workflow manager, in my workflow designer client component, I can develop. So come down designer, go to tools and click on workflow designer. Go to workflows, click on create. First, we should provide the name to the workflow. What is the workflow name? Develop underscore SQ. Okay. See, develop underscore SQ. Okay. This start task is linked with our session. You can observe the design. It is linked with the design. Okay. So that's the reason. Bring your session from sessions folder to workflow designer. Then go to task, click on link task, then provide a link. Then go to repository, click on save. It should be valid. It should be valid. If it is valid, then only I can execute. I can execute. Now I'm executing the workflow. You can observe. Select it, right click and click on start workflow from task. After clicking this, you have to come down monitor to watch the workflow. See, it is running. Yes, succeeded. You can select the session, right click, click on run properties. You can observe here. See, from source, we received 14 records. We loaded into target 14 records. If you want to check the data, at the backend side, you can check. At the front end side, you can check. See, already the object is executed. If you want to check the data, you can connect it to direct database. You can check it. Otherwise, see, from backend side means you can open the database. You can check it. See, DPD, EMP, name, job related, entire data loaded. Okay. Now, I would like to view the data from front-end side means you have to select this object. Then we need to provide this TODBC target connection. That means by using front-end side, we can view the data which is related back-end side. Okay. So come down, design a client component, select it, right click, click on preview data. So here we need to provide TODBC and provide credential, target. Click on connect. So we can view data at the front end side. Yes. Okay. This is the way to develop source qualifier transformation. Okay. Thank you.